Welcome back to Art from Earth. I'm Rex Halterman. This is the second part in a three-part series on making ceramic tiles with 3D printed stamps and cutters. And today I'm going to show you how to put the underglaze on the tile and get it ready for the first firing. I like to use a synthetic steel wool to clean up the face of the tiles a little bit. Just use a light pressure to take down some of the little irregularities. Anytime you're sanding clay, use a respirator or work outside because breathing the dust from the clay is not good for you. You can use a fine wet or dry sandpaper to clean up some of the sharp edges. And sometimes I'll take a metal tool and just scrape down a little bit of a burr or a ridge. When you're done sanding, take a brush and clean the dust out of the face of the tile and all the little nooks and crannies. And I'm using a pretty small brush. I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is white, and I'm thinning it down quite a bit so that I can get into the detail areas. Sometimes it'll take a couple of coats because it'll soak into the clay on the first coat, but on the second or third coats then you'll start to get the coverage that you need. If you make any mistakes, you can take a metal tool and just scrape off some of the underglaze where you don't want it. Now I'm going to start filling in the bigger areas with the next color, and I'll just work my way around the tile using a pretty wet coat of underglaze, and by the time I get around the whole tile, the places where I started should be dry enough for me to start putting another coat on. I like to use a pretty thin down coat of underglaze first because it'll get absorbed into the clay, and I feel like I get a little better fusion between the clay body and the underglaze that way. The next coat will start to cover a little better. And on a tile like this, I'm not trying to get a really opaque, solid coverage of the underglaze because it's more of an organic look that I'm going for. Now I'm using the next color, and it's pretty thin. I'm using a wet coat of it and just kind of pushing it out to the edges of these areas. Sometimes it's easier to kind of push the underglaze ahead of your brush than to try to pull it into an area. I'll just go back and touch up some of the little spots that I missed. There's the finished underglaze on the tile. And this is what it'll look like after it's been fired twice with the glaze over the underglaze. This tile is now ready for the bisque firing, which will be to cone 04, about 1940 degrees Fahrenheit. After that, I'll show you how to put the glaze on it and get it ready for its final firing. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.